The Titan's arrival. The UES Titan emerged from the quantum fold with a brilliant flash of light, its massive silhouette gradually materializing against the backdrop of an alien star system. At 17 kilometers long and 5 kilometers wide, the Titan represented humanity's greatest achievement, a self-sufficient colony ship, research vessel, and diplomatic platform all in one. Its gleaming hull, composed of polarized metamaterials that shifted color with the angle of light, gave it an almost ethereal appearance as it slowly approached the fourth planet of the Proxima Centauri system. On the command deck, Captain Maya Chen stood with her hands clasped behind her back, dark eyes fixed on the holographic display, showing the azure green world growing larger before them. After 10 years of preparation and a journey that had pushed human engineering to its limits, they had arrived at humanity's first contact with an alien civilization. "All systems nominal, Captain," reported Commander Darren Okafor, his fingers dancing across the neural interface built into his station. "Quantum fold drive is cycling down. Conventional engines at 30%. We're maintaining a high orbit as planned." Maya nodded, her expression betraying none of the anxiety churning in her stomach. "And our friends? Any reaction to our arrival?" Communications Officer Arya Patel looked up from her station, her augmented eyes glowing faintly blue. "Significant increase in transmissions from the surface, Captain. They definitely know we're here. I'd be concerned if they didn't notice a ship nearly the size of one of their smaller moons," quipped Chief Science Officer Dr. Elias Reyes, who stood analyzing the sensor data streaming in about the planet designated Proxima Centauri, or Proxima, as the crew had taken to calling it. The Proximan civilization had been discovered 20 years earlier when Earth's deep space arrays detected artificial radio signals emanating from our nearest stellar neighbor. Those signals had eventually resolved into transmissions that Earth's most advanced AI systems had painstakingly decoded, revealing a civilization roughly comparable to Earth's late 21st century technology. Years of remote communication had followed. Slow, methodical exchanges of information via radio waves, gradually building a rudimentary translation matrix and establishing the groundwork for more direct contact. The invitation to visit had come from the Proximans themselves, though their signals had conveyed a certain nervousness about meeting beings from another world. What they hadn't expected was for humans to arrive in a vessel of such tremendous scale. "They're hailing us," Arya announced, her fingers moving through the air as she manipulated the invisible interface. "Same frequency we established during pre-contact communications." Maya straightened her uniform jacket. On screen, the holographic display shifted, resolving into the image of a being that resembled something between an octopus and a praying mantis. Its chitinous exoskeleton gleamed a deep purple, while 4 compound eyes studied them from a triangular head. 4 limbs appeared to serve as arms, ending in delicate manipulators, while another 4 provided stability. "I am Viridian, first speaker of the Proximan Conclave," the being's translator rendered in precise, slightly mechanical English. "We welcome you to our world, though we—" The alien hesitated, its limbs moving in what the synopsychologists had identified as a gesture of agitation. "We did not anticipate a vessel of such magnitude." Maya stepped forward, entering the visual field of the transmission. "First speaker Viridian. I am Captain Maya Chen of the United Earth ship Titan. We come in peace and friendship, bringing greetings from Earth. Our vessel's size reflects both the challenges of interstellar travel and our desire to present a complete picture of human civilization." The aliens' movements became more pronounced. "We understood humans to be approximately our size. Your vessel suggests otherwise." A ripple of amusement went through the bridge crew, quickly suppressed by professionalism. "Our size as individuals is similar to yours," Maya explained. "Our ship is large because it contains many humans, over 10,000, plus all the systems needed to sustain us on our journey." This revelation seemed to shock the alien leader even more. 10,000. You brought 10,000 of your kind to our world." The translator couldn't fully capture the emotion, but the alarm was evident. Maya realized they had miscalculated. In their eagerness to make a good impression, to bring scientists and diplomats from every discipline and nation on Earth, they had inadvertently created the impression of an invasion force. We meant no alarm, first speaker. The Titan carries representatives from Earth's many cultures and scientific disciplines. We wish to ensure that whoever you met would be able to understand and appreciate your civilization fully. Viridian seemed to consider this. Our preliminary orbital scans detect no weapon systems on your vessel. Is this accurate? Maya chose her words carefully. The Titan is equipped with defensive capabilities only, as would be prudent for any vessel traveling through unknown space. We have no hostile intent. After a pause that stretched uncomfortably long, Viridian responded, "We will send a delegation to your vessel for initial contact rather than having you descend to our world. Prepare to receive 5 representatives in 6 of your Earth hours." The transmission ended abruptly, leaving the bridge crew in silence. "Well," Dr. Ray said, breaking the tension, "that could have gone better." Maya turned to her executive officer. "Commander Okafor, inform the diplomatic team. Have the reception area prepared according to Protocol 3. Protocol 3. Okafor questioned. "That's the cautious approach." "They're scared, Darren," Maya said quietly. "And scared beings make unpredictable decisions. Let's proceed with appropriate caution." As the crew dispersed to their duties, Maya remained on the bridge, studying the beautiful blue-green world below. Humanity's first contact would not be the triumphant moment of mutual celebration they had hoped for, but rather a delicate dance of reassurance and diplomacy. 6 hours later, Maya stood in the Titan's cavernous reception bay alongside Earth's primary diplomatic team. Dr. Sophie Mbeki, the mission's chief linguist and xenanthropologist, fidgeted with the collar of her formal uniform. "They're expecting a trap," Sophia murmured, "or possibly a demonstration of overwhelming force." "Then we'll show them neither," Maya replied as a proximity alert announced the approaching Proximan shuttle. The alien craft that glided through the atmospheric containment field was surprisingly elegant, a teardrop-shaped vessel with what appeared to be crystalline components incorporated into its metallic hull. It settled onto the deck with barely a sound, its surface rippling slightly as it adjusted to the Titan's artificial gravity. A seam appeared in the shuttle's side, widening into an oval portal from which 5 Proximans emerged. Their movements were cautious but fluid, their compound eyes swiveling to take in the vast hangar bay. Viridian, identifiable by the distinctive markings on their exoskeleton, led the group. They approached the human delegation slowly, stopping at precisely the distance that had been agreed upon in earlier communications. "First speaker," Maya said, making the gesture of greeting they had learned from their communications, "welcome aboard the Titan." Viridian's upper limbs mimicked the gesture, though the movement seemed stiff. "Captain Chen, your vessel is most impressive. Thank you. We would be honored to show you more of it, at your comfort." One of the other Proximans leaned close to Viridian, their limbs moving in what appeared to be a private conversation. After a moment, Viridian addressed Maya again. "We are curious why humans would build a vessel of such size for first contact. In our history, such displays are typically intimidation." Dr. Mbeki stepped forward. "First speaker, if I may. Human history teaches us that misunderstandings between cultures often arise from incomplete information. Our vessel is large because we wish to bring not just diplomats, but artists, scientists, philosophers, representatives of the full spectrum of human experience. We desire that you meet humanity, not merely a few humans." The Proximans conferred again, their movements becoming gradually less agitated. "An admirable sentiment," Viridian finally said, "though perhaps alarming in execution. Cultural differences we didn't anticipate," Maya acknowledged. "We hope to learn from this mistake, and many others we will likely make. Learning is why we came." This seemed to resonate with the aliens. "Learning is a worthy purpose." Viridian agreed. "We will proceed with the tour you offer." As they moved deeper into the Titan, The aliens' initial caution gradually gave way to curiosity. The ship's hydroponics gardens, with their carefully maintained Earth ecosystems, drew particular interest. "You bring your world with you," observed one of the Proximan scientists, watching a butterfly land on a flowering plant. "In a small way," Dr. Reyes replied. "These systems provide both food and atmospheric recycling for our journey." "Efficient," the alien noted, "though your methods differ from ours." The tour continued through research facilities, cultural exhibits, and engineering sections, carefully selected to demonstrate human achievements without overwhelming their guests. Throughout, the Proximans asked increasingly sophisticated questions, revealing a keen analytical intelligence. The delegation was examining a holographic display of Earth's solar system when an alarm suddenly blared throughout the ship. Maya's communicator activated immediately. "Captain, to the bridge," came Commander Okuffer's tense voice. "Priority 1. Maya turned to the startled aliens. "Please forgive the interruption. Dr. Mbeki will continue the tour while I attend to this matter." "Is there danger?" Viridian asked, limbs shifting in what they now recognized as anxiety. "I don't know yet," Maya answered honestly, "but you have my word that you are safe aboard this vessel." As she hurried to the bridge, Maya felt a growing knot of tension. First contact was delicate enough without complications. The bridge was a flurry of activity when she arrived. "Report," she ordered, striding to the command station. Okuffer's expression was grim. "We've detected an anomaly approaching from the system's Kuiper belt equivalent. Initial readings suggest a micrometeoroid swarm, but the trajectory is unusual." "Unusual how?" "It's changing, Captain," Lieutenant Commander Yusef Wong reported from the sensor station. "The objects are adjusting course to intercept both Proxima and our position." Maya frowned. "Natural objects don't change course. Are we looking at artificial weapons?" "Unknown," Wong replied. "But at current velocity, they'll reach the planet's atmosphere in approximately 9 hours." Maya studied the tactical display, watching the swarm of objects. Hundreds of them, curving toward the vulnerable planet below. "Have the Proximans detected this?" "They're beginning to," Area reported from communications. "We're picking up increased transmissions and what appears to be some kind of planetary alert." Maya made a quick decision. "Inform our guests immediately. Open a channel to whatever passes for their planetary defense." As Area worked to establish communications, Maya considered their options. The Titan possessed defensive capabilities designed primarily for clearing space debris, point defense lasers, and electromagnetic countermeasures. Whether these would be effective against an unknown threat was another question entirely. More concerning was the timing. Their arrival followed almost immediately by a potential attack would look suspicious at best, deliberately orchestrated at worst. First contact had just become significantly more complicated. Part 2. Proving ground. The Proximan delegation's reaction to the news was immediate and severe. Viridian's exoskeleton darkened several shades, and the translator struggled to keep up with the rapid-fire communications between the aliens. "You bring destruction to our world," accused one of the Proximans, a military officer according to the introductions. "This is why you came in such a vessel, to witness our end." Maya kept her voice level despite the accusation. "We had no knowledge of this threat before our sensors detected it. We're prepared to assist in any way possible to protect your world." "Convenient timing," the officer replied, limbs moving in sharp, aggressive patterns. Viridian raised 2 appendages, silencing the officer. "If Captain Chen intended our destruction, revealing the threat would be counterproductive." The first speaker turned to Maya. "What assistance can you offer?" "We need to understand what we're facing first," Maya replied. "Our sensors can track the objects, but we need more data to determine their composition and origin." Dr. Reyes approached with a datapad. "We've isolated a pattern in the object's movements. They're not just on an intercept course. They're actively coordinating, almost like a swarm," Viridian finished. "We have encountered such phenomena before, though never approaching from deep space. This was the first mention of any such threat, and Maya exchanged a quick glance with Dr. Mbiki, who subtly adjusted her translator. "Can you tell us more about these swarms?" Maya asked. "They are rare, ancient automated systems left from a civilization that inhabited this system before our evolution. They typically remain dormant in the outer system, but occasionally activate and target planetary bodies. And you've defended against them before." "Twice in our recorded history," Viridian confirmed. "Each encounter resulted in significant damage to population centers. Our defensive capabilities have improved since the last incursion, but the implication was clear. They weren't confident in their ability to repel this attack." Maya made a rapid assessment. "We have defensive systems that may help. More importantly, we have computational models that might predict their behavior if they operate as a true swarm intelligence. You would assist us." The question came from a Proximan Maya hadn't heard speak before, one with elaborate markings that Dr. Mbiki had whispered denoted a high-ranking political leader. "Of course," Maya said without hesitation. "We came here seeking friendship between our worlds. What kind of friends would we be if we didn't help in a crisis?" After a tense moment, Viridian's posture relaxed slightly. "We accept your offer of assistance, Captain Chen, but understand that trust is not yet established." "Understood." Maya nodded. "Let's get to work." The next 6 hours saw a flurry of activity as human and Proximan scientists collaborated to analyze the approaching threat. The Titan moved to a higher orbit, positioning itself between the planet and the incoming swarm, while Proximan defense platforms were activated across the planet's surface. In the ship's main strategic operations center, human and alien experts huddled around holographic displays showing the swarm's approach. Dr. Rice worked side by side with a Proximan scientist named Philip, their early awkwardness giving way to a rapidly developing professional respect. "Their coordination is remarkable," Philip observed, manipulating the holographic representation with delicate appendages. "Each object maintains precise spacing relative to the others, while the entire formation adjusts to maintain intercept." "Classic emergent behavior," Dr. Rice agreed. "But look here." He highlighted a section of the swarm. "There's a repeating pattern in how information propagates through the group. If we can identify the primary communication method, we might disrupt it." Philip finished, compound eyes gleaming with understanding. On the other side of the operations center, Maya conferred with Commander Okafor and the Proximan military representatives about defensive options. "Our point defense grid can target approximately 60% of the objects based on current projections," Okafor explained. "But that leaves hundreds that could penetrate to the atmosphere. Our planetary defenses can intercept perhaps another 20%, added the Proximan officer, who had introduced himself as Defense Coordinator Marek. "But previous encounters suggest these objects can evade targeted energy weapons by predicting firing solutions." Maya studied the tactical display. "If they're communicating as a swarm, they need to share information. That implies either electromagnetic signals or some other form of energy transmission we haven't detected yet." "We've observed quantum-entangled particles in previous encounters," Marek noted. "Our attempts to jam such communications have been unsuccessful." Maya considered this. "What about the inverse approach? Instead of jamming their communications, what if we introduce our own signals that mimic their pattern but carrying contradictory instructions?" Marek's appendages moved in what Maya was beginning to recognize as a gesture of consideration. "A deception operation against autonomous systems. Intriguing, but how would you penetrate their network?" "I might have an idea about that," came Dr. Ray's voice as he and Philip approached. "We've identified what appears to be a hierarchical structure within the swarm. Certain objects seem to function as relay nodes, coordinating smaller clusters. If we could compromise even a few of these nodes," Philip began, "we could potentially disrupt the entire formation," Maya finished. "Commander Okafor, what would it take to modify our communication array to broadcast on their frequencies?" "Significant reprogramming, Captain, but dual. The bigger challenge would be developing the right counter-signals quickly enough. Captain Chen, Viridian interrupted, approaching the group. Your ship's computational systems, are they more advanced than what we've shown you of our technology? Maya nodded. Based on what we've seen, yes. We have quantum processing arrays specifically designed for complex pattern analysis and prediction. Then perhaps the solution lies there, Viridian suggested. If your systems can analyze the swarm's communication patterns rapidly enough to develop effective countermeasures, we'd need to integrate our sensors with yours to get complete data, Maya pointed out. A momentary silence fell over the group. What Maya proposed would mean giving humans access to Proximan defense systems, a significant leap of trust for a civilization that had met them less than a day ago. Viridian conferred briefly with the other Proximans before responding. Necessity compels unusual measures, Captain. We will provide access to our sensor networks. 3 hours later, with the swarm less than 2 hours from intercepting the planet, the combined human Proximan team had developed a multi-layered defense strategy. The Titan's massive computational systems, fed by data from both the ship's sensors and the planetary defense network, had identified critical nodes within the swarm structure and developed customized interference patterns for each. The plan has 3 phases, Maya explained to the assembled team. First, the Titan will position itself at the calculated optimal transmission point and broadcast the disruption signals targeting the command nodes. If successful, this should create confusion within the swarm. Second, continued Commander Okafor, as the formation begins to break down, both our point defense systems and the planetary defense grid will target the identified primary nodes, further degrading their coordination. Finally, Merak added, our atmospheric interceptors will engage any objects that penetrate the outer defenses, prioritizing based on size and trajectory as determined by the predictive model. Viridian regarded the humans with an unreadable expression. This plan relies heavily on your technology and analysis, Captain Chen. It relies on both our capabilities, Maya corrected gently. Neither of us could accomplish this alone. After a moment, Viridian's exoskeleton shifted to a lighter hue. Proceed. As the Titan maneuvered into position, Maya returned to the bridge, tension evident in every line of her body. First contact missions were supposed to be methodical, cautious affairs, not thrown immediately into crisis management. Yet there was something appropriate about facing danger together. Nothing revealed character like shared adversity. In position, Captain, reported the helm officer. Transmission systems ready. Defense grid at full capacity, added Okafor. Proximan systems are synchronized with ours. Maya took a deep breath. Commence transmission. The ship hummed with power as its communication arrays broadcast precisely calibrated signals designed to infiltrate and confuse the advancing swarm. On the tactical display, Maya watched as the neat formation of approaching objects began to waver, individual units drifting slightly off course. It's working, Arya reported, excitement coloring her voice. We're seeing degradation in their coordination patterns. Point defense systems engaging, Okafor announced as the Titan's laser grid activated, precisely targeting the nodes they had identified. Bright flashes appeared at the edges of the swarm as both the ship's weapons and the planetary defenses began to eliminate key targets. The remaining objects' formation deteriorated further, breaking into smaller, less coordinated clusters. 87% of primary nodes neutralized, reported Lieutenant Wang. Remaining swarm elements showed decreased coordination efficiency of 63%. Maya allowed herself a small smile. Planetary defense status. Proximan systems report successful targeting of secondary clusters, Arya replied. Atmospheric penetration projections down to less than 5% of original estimates. The bridge crew worked with practiced efficiency as the operation continued, adjusting their tactics as the swarm adapted. When a small cluster of objects managed to evade both the Titan's defenses and the planetary grid, the ship smoothly repositioned to intercept them before they could reach the atmosphere. 3 tense hours later, the last of the swarm had been neutralized. A ragged cheer went up from the bridge crew before professionalism reasserted itself. "Damage report," Maya ordered. "Minimal power system strain from extended point defense operations," Okafor reported. "No structural damage." The Proximans report 3 defense platforms overheated but no planetary impacts. Maya allowed herself to relax slightly. "Open a channel to first speaker Viridian." When the alien leader appeared on screen, Maya was surprised to see what their xenopsychologists interpreted as a gesture of respect. "Captain Chen," Viridian began, "it appears we misjudged you, and perhaps humanity as a whole. Your assistance has prevented significant loss of life today." "We're glad we could help," Maya responded simply. "Though I hope future interactions between our peoples can occur under less dramatic circumstances." "As do I," Viridian agreed. "This encounter has revealed much about humans that our remote communications could not. Your willingness to defend those you barely know, your technological adaptability, and your collaborative approach have all been educational." Maya smiled. "We've learned much about your people as well, first speaker. Your courage, your scientific insight, and your willingness to trust, when necessary, speak well of the Proximan civilization. Perhaps," Viridian suggested, "we might continue the cultural exchange we began earlier, this time with fewer preconceptions on both sides." "Nothing would please us more," Maya agreed. 2 days later, as the first official Proximan delegation prepared to board the Titan for extended diplomatic talks, Maya stood in her ready room, gazing at the beautiful world below. First contact had not gone as planned. It had been more dangerous, more complicated, and ultimately more revealing than anyone had anticipated. Yet in facing crisis together, humans and Proximans had learned more about each other in days than they might have in years of careful, distant diplomacy. The foundation they were building now was based not on cautious words but on demonstrated actions. As she prepared to welcome the Proximans aboard, Maya reflected that perhaps this was how lasting interstellar relationships should begin, not with careful distance but with the shared experience of overcoming adversity together. The massive Titan, once viewed with suspicion and fear, now orbited Proxima as a symbol of unexpected friendship and alliance, proof that even across the gulf of space, different species could find common ground in courage, ingenuity, and cooperation. Humanity had made its first allies among the stars. The Celestial Seeker's emergency alert pierced through the ship's central chamber, its haunting wail echoing off the crystalline walls. Captain Naira Valen's iridescent scales flickered with anxiety as she studied the failing engine readings. The research vessel's quantum drive was hemorrhaging energy at an alarming rate, and their nearest Alliance outpost was light years away. "Status report," she commanded, her 4 eyes fixed on the swirling blue marble that dominated their view screen. Chief Engineer Zach Still's tentacles danced across the holographic controls. "The containment field is failing, Captain. We have minutes at most before total system collapse. Earth is our only option." Naira's auxiliary heart skipped a beat. Earth, the mysterious planet that had been broadcasting increasingly complex signals into space for the past century, yet remained officially uncontacted. The Alliance's strict non-interference protocols had kept them at bay, watching and waiting until humanity achieved standardized faster-than-light travel. "Their technological level?" Naira demanded, already knowing the answer. "Official records indicate early space exploration phase," First Officer Krull reported, his exoskeleton clicking nervously. "Primitive chemical rockets, limited orbital presence." A violent shudder rocked the ship. Warning glyphs flashed across every surface as the quantum core's steady hum degraded into an arrhythmic thunder. They had no choice. Naira activated the emergency broadcast channel. "Earth Control. This is Alliance research vessel Celestial Seeker declaring an emergency. We require immediate landing clearance. Our drive system is critical." The response came faster than anyone expected, in perfect galactic standard. "Celestial Seeker, this is Houston Deep Space Control. We have you on monitoring systems and confirm your drive instability." transmitting coordinates for emergency landing at Facility 7. Recovery teams are standing by. The bridge crew exchanged bewildered looks. Facility 7. Recovery teams. This was not the response expected from a pre-FTL civilization. As they began their desperate descent through Earth's atmosphere, more surprises awaited. Their sensors detected sophisticated energy shields protecting major population centers. Quantum scanning arrays tracked their approach with precision that shouldn't have been possible with known human technology. The landing zone materialized below them, a massive circular platform surrounded by sleek structures that wouldn't have looked out of place on the Alliance's most advanced worlds. As they touched down, emergency vehicles converged on their position, and to Naira's utter astonishment, a proper quantum containment field sprang up around their failing drive section. "Impossible," Zack still whispered, his tentacles trembling as he studied the readings. "Their containment field, it's more sophisticated than our own." A communication request flashed on their screens. "Celestial Seeker, this is Recovery Team Alpha. We're detecting cascade failures in your quantum matrix. Request permission to board and assist with drive stabilization." Naira looked at her crew, seeing her own shock reflected in their alien faces. This was not the primitive Earth they had expected to find. As the airlock cycled, admitting a team of humans in advanced engineering suits, she realized they had stumbled onto something far more significant than a simple emergency landing. The lead human stepped forward, removing his helmet to reveal a face weathered by experience. "Captain, I'm Dr. Sarah Chen, Chief of Emergency Operations. Welcome to Earth. I apologize for the deception, but we've had our reasons for keeping certain capabilities quiet." Naira's scales shifted colors rapidly as she processed the implications. "You've been watching us." Dr. Chen smiled. "Just as you've been watching us. Though I suspect we've seen more than you realized. Now shall we save your ship?" The quantum cascade won't wait for diplomatic niceties. As they rushed toward engineering, Naira couldn't shake the feeling that this emergency landing would change not just their understanding of humanity, but the entire balance of power in the galaxy. Earth had been playing a very long game indeed, and they had just been forced to show their hand. The true first contact was not going according to anyone's plans, except, perhaps, humanity's. The Celestial Seeker's engineering bay hummed with activity as human technicians worked alongside the alien crew. Dr. Chen's team moved with practiced efficiency, their equipment interfacing seamlessly with the ship's systems in ways that shouldn't have been possible. Captain Naira watched, her scales shifting between shades of confusion and awe. "Your quantum matrix is completely destabilized," Dr. Chen announced, studying a holographic display that showed the drive's internal structure. "But there's something else here. These microfractures in the crystalline lattice, they're not random." Zack still slithered closer, his tentacles twisting anxiously. "What do you mean?" "Your ship was sabotage," Chen replied, zooming in on a particular section. "See these resonance patterns? Someone inserted a quantum virus into your drive system. Very sophisticated work. It was designed to trigger a cascade failure at a specific point in space." Naira's primary heart nearly stopped. "That's impossible. Quantum viruses are theoretical weapons. No known species has successfully developed them." A younger human technician, who had introduced himself as Marcus Wong, looked up from his workstation. "No known species in the Alliance, you mean? We've been dealing with them for decades." The revelation hit Naira like a gravitational wave. "But Earth isn't even part of the interstellar community. You're supposed to be primitive." Dr. Chen finished with a slight smile. "That was the idea. We detected our first alien quantum virus 20 years ago. It nearly disabled our early warning system in the Kuiper Belt. Since then, we've learned to be prepared." The humans continued their work, pulling out devices that made Naira's scientific training scream in protest. They manipulated quantum fields with casual ease, their technology dancing on the edge of what she had believed possible. Each revelation sparked new questions, each answer hinting at depths of human advancement that defied explanation. There, Marcus announced, pointing to a complex pattern in the quantum matrix. Found the virus's origin signature. Dr. Chen, you're going to want to see this. Chen's expression hardened as she studied the data. Drukani military code. They're getting bolder. The Drukani. Krell chittered in alarm. They're the most isolationist species in known space. They haven't left their territory in centuries. Officially, Chen corrected. Unofficially, they'd been probing defenses across this sector for years. Your ship's trajectory would have taken you right through their newest expansion corridor, if the virus had triggered as planned. Naira's scales paled. You're monitoring Drukani expansion. How? Their stealth technology is unmatched. Was unmatched, Marcus corrected, already working on purging the virus from their systems. Quantum stealth has its limitations once you understand how to detect temporal wake signatures. We've had to learn fast. As if to emphasize his point, a massive holographic display materialized in the center of engineering, showing a real-time map of local space. Dozens of previously invisible ships appeared as ghostly outlines, their positions tracked with impossible precision. Those are all Drukani vessels, Chen explained. They've been building up forces in this sector for months. Your ship's failure wasn't an accident. It was meant to provide them with a pretext for investigating Earth. They assumed we were defenseless. The implications staggered Naira. Earth hadn't just developed advanced technology. They had been actively defending against threats the Alliance hadn't even known existed. Every assumption about humanity's place in the galactic order was crumbling before her eyes. Why reveal this to us now? She asked. You could have maintained your deception. Chen's expression turned grave. Because the Drukani are coming, Captain. Your distress call gave them the excuse they needed. We expect their fleet within 48 hours. And when they arrive, they'll learn exactly why Earth has worked so hard to appear harmless. A new alert flashed across the displays. Multiple quantum signatures appearing at the edge of the solar system. The Drukani weren't waiting 48 hours. Well, Chen sighed, activating a complex series of commands on her quantum tablet. I suppose we're doing this the hard way. Captain Naira, your ship is about to witness firsthand why the galaxy's predators should have left Earth alone. As alarm klaxons began to sound throughout the facility, Naira realized that the true scope of humanity's capabilities was about to be revealed. And the galaxy would never be the same. The Drukani fleet materialized like a storm of deadly shadows against the backdrop of space. Naira counted at least 30 warships, their crystalline hulls absorbing light rather than reflecting it. On the massive holographic display in Facility 7's command center, the invasion force looked unstoppable. Interesting, Dr. Chen mused, studying the tactical readouts with unsettling calm. They brought their entire 7th battle group. I'm almost flattered. That's a Worldbreaker-class dreadnought leading the fleet, Krell observed, his exoskeleton rattling with fear. The Alliance's strongest ships couldn't stand against even one of those. Marcus Wong's fingers danced across his control station. Good thing we're not the Alliance then. Dr. Chen, Quantum Grid is charged and ready. Defense platforms are online. Naira watched in confusion as humans worked with practiced efficiency, showing none of the panic she would expect from a civilization facing such overwhelming force. The massive command center hummed with energy as hundreds of operators coordinated Earth's response. The Drukani commander's transmission cut through all channels, his crystalline face floating above the central display. Primitive world, you harbor a vessel of interest to the Drukani ascendancy. Surrender it immediately, or we will reduce your civilization to atoms. Dr. Chen's response was remarkably cordial. This is Earth Deep Space Control. Your presence in our system is unauthorized. You have 30 seconds to retreat beyond the Kuiper Belt. The Drukani commander's crystalline features shifted in what Naira recognized as amusement. You dare threaten the ascendancy. We monitored your world for decades. Your technology is primitive. Your defenses negligible. 20 seconds, Chen replied, ignoring the threats. The World Breaker's main weapon began to charge, its quantum resonance building to apocalyptic levels. Naira's scales went pale. That weapon could crack a planet's crust. 10 seconds. Chen continued, now working on her quantum tablet with focused intensity. You had your chance, the Drukani commander snarled. Now witness the price of defiance. The World Breaker fired, its beam of concentrated quantum energy lancing toward Earth with enough power to shatter continents. Naira held her breath, expecting to witness the end of human civilization. Instead, the beam hit something invisible several thousand kilometers above the planet. The energy dispersed in a spectacular display of light and physics-defying phenomena. Where there had been empty space, a geometric pattern of pure energy shimmered into view. A planetary shield that shouldn't have been possible. Quantum defense grid holding at 99.97%, Marcus reported casually. Nice try, though. The Drukani commander's crystalline face cracked with shock. Impossible. Your species barely mastered orbital flight. About that, Chen smiled. We may have exaggerated our technological limitations, just a bit. She pressed a final command on her tablet. Now please observe why the smart predators stay away from Earth. Space itself seemed to ripple around the Drukani fleet. Hundreds of platforms declocked simultaneously, their existence suddenly revealed to the stunned invaders. Each platform bristled with weapons that made Naira's scientific knowledge scream in protest. Technology that violated everything she thought she knew about physics. Full-spectrum quantum cascade, Chen ordered. Let's show them what primitive looks like. The platforms fired in perfect synchronization. Beams of coherent quantum energy struck the Drukani ships from all directions, bypassing their supposedly impenetrable shields as if they weren't there. The energy didn't destroy the ships. It did something far worse. Quantum lock engaged, Marcus announced. Their ships are frozen in space-time. Weapons, drives, and communications are temporarily suspended. Naira watched in awe as the mighty Drukani fleet hung helpless in space, trapped in a quantum stasis field that shouldn't have been theoretically possible. The humans had just casually demonstrated mastery over time itself. We discovered quantum weapons being used against Earth 15 years ago, Chen explained to the stunned alien visitors. So we developed countermeasures. Then we improved them. Then we decided to master quantum mechanics at a level that would make your scientists weep. She turned to face the frozen image of the Drukani commander. We could have joined the galactic community years ago. But we saw how the predators treated developing worlds. So we waited, we watched, and we prepared. Earth isn't defenseless. We're just very, very good at looking harmless. The command center erupted in new alerts as more quantum signatures appeared at the system's edge. Multiple ships dropping out of FTL, Marcus reported. Reading Alliance diplomatic codes. Right on schedule, Chen nodded. Nothing brings the diplomats running quite like showing your trump card. Captain Naira, I believe your superiors are about to discover that the galaxy's balance of power just shifted dramatically. Naira's scales shifted through colors of disbelief as she realized the truth. Humanity hadn't just been hiding their advancement. They had been orchestrating this moment. The galaxy was about to change forever, and her damaged ship had been the perfect catalyst. The Alliance diplomatic fleet emerged from hyperspace with characteristic precision. 12 ships of gleaming silver and gold, their designs meant to project authority and wisdom. They hung in space like judgmental stars, facing the impossible tableau before them. Earth's orbital defense grid holding the mighty Drukani battle group in quantum stasis. Impressive response time, Dr. Chen noted, checking her quantum tablet. We expected them to take at least another hour. The Alliance is getting better at crisis management. The main display lit up with multiple incoming transmission requests. Grand Arbiter Vexilon of the Alliance Council appeared on the central screen, his crystalline form radiating waves of concern and confusion. This is a grave situation, the Arbiter began, his tone carefully measured. The Drukani Ascendancy claims their fleet was responding to a distress signal from a damaged Alliance vessel. They accuse Earth of defending ourselves against an invasion force. Chen interrupted politely. Or perhaps you're more interested in discussing why the Alliance has been allowing the Drukani to systematically sabotage ships near supposedly primitive worlds. Naira watched the Arbiter's crystalline structure flicker with discomfort. Her own understanding of galactic politics was shifting rapidly as she pieced together the implications. "We have no knowledge of any such activities," Vexlon stated firmly. Marcus pulled up a holographic display, projecting it for all to see. "This is interesting then. We've documented 47 random drive failures in this sector over the past 5 years, each one precisely targeted with Drukani quantum viruses, each one ignored by Alliance investigation teams." The display filled with technical data, incident reports, and quantum signatures that painted a damning picture of willful ignorance, or worse, complicity. "That's classified Alliance data," Vexlon protested. "How did you? We've had quantum AI systems monitoring all Alliance communications for decades," Chen revealed casually. "Your encryption is impressive, but it's still based on principles we surpassed years ago. Just like we surpassed the Drukani's quantum weapons, which you claimed were impossible to develop." The command center hummed with quiet efficiency as humans continued monitoring the stasis field containing the Drukani fleet. Naira noticed how none of them seemed concerned about revealing these capabilities to the galaxy's major powers. This wasn't just preparation. This was orchestrated. "What are your demands?" the Arbiter asked, his tone now notably more cautious. Chen smiled. "Demands? No, Arbiter. This is a notification. Earth is formally announcing its presence on the galactic stage. We're also announcing our new policy regarding predatory behavior in this sector of space." She gestured to the frozen Drukani fleet. "As demonstrated, we have the capability to detect and neutralize any hostile action within several light-years of our system. We've developed defenses against every weapon system currently known to the Alliance, and quite a few that aren't officially known. You can't simply declare unilateral control over an entire sector," Vexlon protested. "We already have," Chen corrected. "We've been exercising that control quietly for years. The only difference is now you know about it." Naira's scientific curiosity finally overwhelmed her diplomatic restraint. "The quantum stasis field containing the Drukani. It violates at least 7 laws of physics. How did you achieve it?" "We stopped letting physics tell us what was impossible," Marcus replied with a grin. "Amazing what you can accomplish when you approach quantum mechanics with human creativity instead of Alliance doctrine." The command center's alerts chimed again. New quantum signatures were appearing at the system's edge. More Drukani ships, coming to reinforce their trapped battle group. "Right on schedule," Chen nodded. "Captain Naira, you're about to witness why Earth's defensive capabilities were just our opening act. Marcus, initiate Protocol Omega. Let's show them what happens when humans decide to really push the boundaries of possible." The room's lighting shifted as new systems came online. Through the command center's windows, Naira saw massive structures rising from Earth's surface. Installations that had been completely hidden by technology she couldn't begin to comprehend. "You see," Chen explained to the stunned Alliance Arbiter, "holding ships in quantum stasis was just a proof of concept. Now we're going to demonstrate why starting a fight near Earth was the worst mistake the Drukani could have made." The hidden installations locked into position, forming a geometric pattern that made Naira's scientific knowledge scream in protest. Whatever humanity was about to unveil, it was going to rewrite the galaxy's understanding of what was possible. And as the reinforcing Drukani fleet approached, Naira realized she was about to witness firsthand why humanity had spent so long pretending to be harmless. The galaxy's predators had just discovered they weren't at the top of the food chain anymore. The approaching Drukani reinforcement fleet filled the tactical display, 50 ships strong, including 2 more Worldbreaker-class dreadnoughts. They moved with predatory confidence, clearly believing their superior numbers would overcome whatever defense had trapped their companions. Final warning to all Drukani vessels. Dr. Chen announced on open channels. Your forces are entering a restricted space-time zone. Consequences will be severe. The only response was the simultaneous firing of quantum destruction beams from all 50 ships. The combined firepower could have shattered a small moon. They never learn, Chen sighed. Marcus, initiate the Einstein Protocol. The massive installations that had risen from Earth's surface began to pulse with energy that defied conventional physics. The geometric pattern they formed seemed to bend reality itself, creating visible distortions in space-time. Fascinating. Naira breathed, her scientific mind struggling to comprehend what she was witnessing. You've weaponized space-time itself. Not weaponized, Marcus corrected, his fingers dancing across quantum controls. We've learned to rewrite it. The laws of physics are more like guidelines once you understand the source code of reality. The incoming Drukani weapon fire suddenly stopped, frozen in mid-trajectory. But unlike the previous quantum stasis field, this was different. The energy beams began to curve and twist, forming an intricate spiral pattern in space. You see, Chen explained to the watching Alliance arbiter, quantum stasis fields were just our proof of concept. This is what happens when humans really start pushing the boundaries of theoretical physics. The spiral of trapped energy began to collapse inward, forming a perfect circle of light. Inside that circle, space itself seemed to ripple and fold. We discovered something interesting while developing our defenses, Chen continued. The universe isn't just three-dimensional space plus time. Reality has layers, quantum frequencies that exist simultaneously. The Drukani's quantum weapons gave us the key to understanding this. And once we understood it, she gestured to Marcus, who initiated the final sequence. The circle of light expanded suddenly, enveloping the entire Drukani reinforcement fleet. For a moment, nothing seemed to happen. Then reality buckled. The 50 Drukani ships vanished, not destroyed, but transferred elsewhere. In their place appeared an equal number of vessels, but these were different. They were the same ships, but clearly aged by centuries, covered in cosmic dust and showing signs of extreme temporal wear. We didn't just move them through space, Chen explained to the stunned observers. We moved them through dimensional frequencies. They've experienced hundreds of years in what was, for us, an instant. Their weapons are depleted, their drives burnt out. Their crews long since departed through emergency protocols. The original Drukani fleet, still held in quantum stasis, was released, but their ships too had been altered. Their quantum weapons have been not just neutralized but fundamentally transformed, their destructive capacity converted into protective shielding. Consider this a demonstration. Chen addressed the Alliance arbiter. Earth isn't interested in conquest or domination. We simply refuse to allow predatory behavior in our space. The Drukani ships will be returned to their territory, permanently altered to be incapable of attacking other worlds. They can still defend themselves. We're not monsters, but their days of conquest are over. Naira's scales shifted through colors of awe and disbelief. You could have conquered the galaxy at any time. We could have, Chen agreed, but that's not who we are. Humanity doesn't want to rule. We want to explore, to learn, to grow. We hid our capabilities because we hoped the galaxy would mature on its own. Now we're done waiting. The command center's displays showed Alliance vessels across the sector suddenly receiving massive data packets, technical specifications, scientific breakthroughs, mathematical proofs that would revolutionize their understanding of reality. We're releasing a portion of our scientific database to all spacefaring races, Chen announced. Enough to help level the playing field, enough to show that cooperation is more powerful than conquest. The predators of the galaxy have a choice now, evolve or become obsolete. She turned to Captain Naira and her crew. Your ship's quantum drive has been upgraded with our latest technology. You'll find it's quite an improvement. Consider it a gesture of friendship and a reminder that humanity is always watching, always preparing, and always willing to help those who choose peace over power. The Celestial Seeker's systems lit up with new energy as the upgrade activated. Naira's engineering officer, Zach Still, nearly fainted as he reviewed the specifications. Their ship now possessed capabilities that made their previous technology look primitive by comparison. The galaxy is changing, Chen concluded, addressing all listening channels. Earth is no longer hiding. We're not your conquerors or your saviors, we're your neighbors, and we enforce good neighborly behavior rather strictly. As the Alliance diplomatic fleet began coordinating the removal of the temporally displaced Drukani ships, Naira realized she was witnessing more than just a demonstration of power. This was the moment humanity finally revealed their true nature, not as primitive savages or enlightened conquerors, but as universal protectors who had spent generations preparing to make the galaxy a better place. The predators had sought to exploit what they thought was a primitive world. Instead, they had awakened something far more powerful: humanity's determination to forge a future where intelligence and cooperation trumped violence and domination. As the Celestial Seeker prepared to depart Earth orbit, Naira knew she was leaving with more than just an upgraded ship. She was carrying the message that would reshape galactic civilization. Humanity was done pretending, and the age of predators was over.